If you're watching this video right now, chances are you're a service provider or agency owner that has a service that they sell online, and you're wondering if having a podcast is a viable and effective way to get clients and grow your business in 2025. In this video, I'm going to show you how we use podcasts to get high-paying, wealthy clients to pay top dollar prices for your services and how to do it in as simple as 3 steps. Sound good? All right, let's dive in. So when it comes to marketing and sales, one of the things that I've learned is that we have to focus on principles, not tactics. Because every time that I would try to use tactics, I would go and I would do something and it would either work once and then crash and burn, or I was left frustrated wondering why others could succeed with it and I couldn't. When I shifted to focus on principles, that's when things started to change because I had a solid foundation, because principles never change. So when it comes to marketing and sales, I want to look at the 3 principles that are required in order to make money and actually land clients. Right? And I call this the ultimate sales framework. Now, the first part of the ultimate sales framework is we need to have what's called an offer, or another way to put this would be something to sell. Every single human being on the planet that has ever made money or landed a client has had an offer, something to sell in exchange for those dollars. This is going to be your service or whatever it is that you sell in exchange for dollars. Okay. The next piece is we need what we call a sales conversion process, or another way to think about this is a way to sell your offer. So first we have the thing that you're going to sell. Now this would be the way that you sell it. Again, every person in history that's ever sold this before, whether it's software or groceries at the store or a service, online, offline, they all have a way that they go about selling this. Think of this as a webinar or a sales call or something like that. And then finally, we have traffic and leads. Or another way to think about it is someone to sell this to. Okay, you've got something to sell, you've got a way to sell it, and you've got people to sell it to. And you need to make sure that the people you're selling it to are actually qualified leads, people that can actually afford to pay the prices that you want to charge and are easy to get results for. Now, the way that I think about this is I look at it like an equation. If we can solve for these 3 things, then we know we're going to be able to make money as long as we get them correct. So I'm guessing if you already sell something, then you probably have your offer figured out. Yeah, we might need to raise your prices a little bit, but you already know the thing that you're going to sell. So we need to look at the way we sell it and who we sell it to. That's where a podcast comes in. One of the things that I learned was from a mentor of mine by the name of Sam Ovens. I joined his $36,000 mastermind, and he said, if you want to go and sell to high ticket or high paying clients rather than low paying ones, you have to build a sales process that aligns with how they think, how they make decisions. The problem with most people's sales processes is that they simply build a process that is designed to speak to or attract a low paying client, not a wealthy one. When it comes to wealthy, high paying clients, they make decisions 3 ways, and we have to factor all 3 of these things into the sales process. When I didn't have these things in, I was never able to sell or land high-ticket clients, much less find them. Once I put these 3 things into my sales process, not only did I find these people with ease, but I was literally able to 10, 12x, even 15x my prices, and I've had clients go as much as 50 times more than they were charging before. The first thing is that we know that wealthy people buy from people that they have a relationship with. They buy from their friends. They buy from people that they trust. The second thing that we know is that they buy to solve problems, not off of hype or some empty promise of the future. It has to be a real legitimate problem that they have. And then third is they make decisions quickly as soon as they're certain that the offer is right for them. So how we use a podcast for this is backwards or different than how most people actually use podcasts. See, most people go and they try to create a podcast by focusing on building a really big audience and then selling to the audience. The problem with that is that not only does it take a long time and a lot of work to actually go and build that audience, but you don't have as deep of a relationship with them and they don't trust you as much unless they've listened to hours or even months of your content. So what we do is rather than focusing on the audience, we focus on interviewing our ideal client or creating a platform, a podcast, where we can sit down, have deep, meaningful conversations with potential prospects that are wealthy clientele, build a relationship with them, and then once we're done with that interview, learn if they have the problem that we know how to solve. Here's what this looks like. First is we set up a podcast platform, what we call a golden mic, that allows our ideal clients to want to come talk to us. We then invite them on that podcast to have an hour-long conversation or so where we ask them questions, get to know them, and build a lot of trust. At the end of that interview, once we're off the podcast and having that post-interview conversation, we then ask them about their business or their life and how things are going and identify what problem that they're experiencing that we know how to solve. Because now they trust us, we have a relationship with them, they're much more likely to give us that information because that's what friends do. And then finally, once we have that information, if they have the problem that we know how to solve and they would be a good fit, We asked them if we can show them how we would solve that problem for them by sending them over a simple 2-page Google Doc that outlines what their problem is, how we'd solve it, and the type of results that they could expect from it. That's it. That's the Golden Mike method. And if you look to match this back to what we talked about from a principal perspective, you'll notice that the way that we actually go and get traffic or people to sell it to is by creating this podcast where we can attract or invite them on to that podcast. How we go and sell them, the sales conversion process, is we build a relationship with them by having that podcast interview and learning about what it is that they need. And then the actual offer itself, we then outline on the Google Doc that shows them, here's your problem, here's how we'd solve it, this is our offer to go and do that. As you can see, this is a very effective process. And the reason that it works so well is because it's specifically designed to go and speak to an ideal client or someone with money. The reason that most entrepreneurs, service providers, agency owners, people like that struggle to get clients from a podcast is simply because they've set up and used the podcast wrong. Once you go and switch how you set it up and design it in such a way that speaks to your ideal client and focuses on how they think, not only are you going to be able to get way better clients, get more of them, and charge a lot more, but you then get all the added benefits of having a podcast, like brand recognition, respect, building an audience, making it easier to sell, and getting opportunities that most wouldn't. That's it. That's our process of getting clients with a podcast. Now, if you want to see exactly what this would look like in your business, including exact steps that you would take to go and implement this process, then I want to invite you to book a game plan call with our team. You actually are going to walk away with a game plan, meaning we're going to sit down, we're going to learn about where you're at currently, we're going to learn about where it is that you're wanting to get to, and then we're going to give you the actual steps, step by step, of what we would tell you to do and what it would look like to implement this process into your business. So you'll walk away with that call knowing with complete clarity exactly the next steps you should take, how long it would take you to get clients, and whether or not this would be an effective solution for you or not. Then you can decide from there whether or not you want our help or if you want to go try to implement this on your own. The call is 100% free. All you have to do is click the link below, book the game plan call, and my team and I will meet you live.